What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the gaming community? It's your favorite underground content creator, Centurion1307, back at you, welcoming you to another video. The Halo franchise over the years has had its own struggles, but now it's going to face its most #1 struggle yet, the critics. I can understand an argument from both sides. This game is going to be used to usher in a new generation of consoles and a new generation of game graphics. So I find it quite fitting in Halo Infinite that there is going to be something in the game called the Harbinger, and Halo Infinite in itself is going to be the harbinger of next generation for the Xbox franchise. Sadly though, as I read a lot of articles on the internet, I'm starting to notice that there's the critics and then there's the confused. One major thing that needs to be pointed out is that the game is going to look totally different than what we're used to from Halo 4 and Halo 5. Since Bungie's departure from Microsoft, 343 Studios has attempted to put their own diverse spin onto the Halo franchise. With additions like changing the appearance of Master Chief and adding a much more photorealistic view to the game, 343 really made their mark on the franchise and how the game looked. But the new story arcs and enemies that were coming out of 343 Studios were not very well received. Instead, it dragged the franchise into a direction that was actually dividing the player base. It became a battle of Bungie's Halo versus 343's Halo. This is where the confusion comes in, because 343 is actually wanting to go back in time to when Bungie was creating Halo and use them for inspiration, specifically Halo 2 and Halo 3. If you've been watching the video, you will see the evolution of Master Chief over the years, and it is completely fitting that the very first game was called Halo Combat Evolved. Just by watching the changes in Master Chief's armor over the years, you will see 343 is about to take that evolution full circle back to the original 3 games. They are wanting to have Halo Infinite have a look and feel that is similar to the original Halo games. Master Chief has gone back to that original classic look of that green armor with the 117 logo up on his shoulder. The game is also taking place on a Halo ring, and 343 wanted to make sure that it felt like the Halo ring just in the first game. They used inspiration from the environments and the color palette from the first game that has led to some saying that the game looks downgraded. Not helping matters, it is stated that the footage used at the Microsoft July showcase showing the gameplay reveal of Halo Infinite was supposedly months old and not a clear visual representation of the state of the game. This led to a number of GIFs being released on social media using some of the unfinished character models that were in the demo. This also includes the rise of a certain brute that the community has now called Craig. But certain critics need to go take Craig and sit down for a second and realize that 343 Studios is no slouch when it comes to graphics and visual quality. They also need to realize that going forward into the future, console graphics and graphics in general are going to be an area for diminished return. Regretfully, since the invention of 1080p, graphics have somewhat peaked. The only leap that has been made since then has been 1440p and 2160. Now, the next leap that we are going to receive this coming generation is that in frame rate and loading power. If you truly watch the demo released at the July showcase, you will see what I'm talking about. In just the title screen alone on the gameplay trailer, there is an amazing amount of life and detail in my opinion. In the original Halo games, I can't remember moving around in the environment and seeing a large amount of animal life in those environments. But in watching the Halo Infinite gameplay, I am seeing a large amount of animal life, both in the skies and running around in the grass down below as the character moves around. I also happened to notice that the enemy AI was acting in a more natural manner when receiving damage. From what I've seen so far, I can actually say that Halo Infinite is not only going to be a visual game, but it is also going to be a truly immersive experience like Phil Spencer says. If you haven't already and have the means to do it, I would suggest going to watch the 4K upload of the Halo Infinite gameplay. One big thing people are still asking though out of this gameplay is how the game is actually truly going to feel. Master Chief is not your typical first-person shooter hero. He's slow, clunky, and he is considered a tank. 343 has been known to take certain game mechanics that are popular and try to integrate them into the Halo game. This included changing the sprint feature in Halo 4 and adding squad controls in Halo 5. Now they're adding a grappling hook, and this has some kind of concern because they're worried that this could potentially speed up the gameplay of the Halo franchise. One thing that has helped Halo stand out in other first-person shooters is its slow, clunky nature. There are some fans that are concerned that this is going to become more of a Titanfall experience with people flying around everywhere on grappling hooks. But I really can't blame 343 for trying to change a few things. You have to evolve with the times. You just can't create the same experience over and over again without stagnating the franchise. If it wasn't for developers pushing the envelope, we never would have franchises like Halo. Halo at its core really evolved how first-person shooters were created and also played. If we look back in time, it can be said that this franchise was a major stepping stone in the rise of online multiplayer. It also gave developers a point of reference of what a true quality first-person shooter should feel like and play like. One thing that is amazingly confusing to me is in today's world, one thing that people need to be is forgiving and understanding. We need to be understanding that 343 has to evolve this franchise in some way, shape, or form, or it will stagnate. We should also be a little bit more forgiving whenever a developer tries something new and it doesn't exactly work out. I don't ever want to see any developer that's ever scared to try to do something new or to push the envelope. Microsoft is putting a lot of money into Halo, and from what 343 states, Halo Infinite is truly a very ambitious game. I will come out and say I find it rather ridiculous that somebody would take the time out of their busy day and go out of their way just to microscope this gameplay trailer. Craig's time in the gameplay trailer literally happens in the blink of an eye, but because somebody chose to still frame it, he will live on forever. One thing in being a level-headed gamer, we all must remember that there is no way for any developer to ever truly make a perfect game that will truly make everyone who plays it happy. It really helps to stop thinking about what you hate about a game and instead to think about what you like about it. So here we are again, friends, at the end of another video, and I want to thank you once again for tuning in and checking it out. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the neighborhood, and be sure to subscribe down below. As always, you can always follow me on Twitter, and there you will find the location of various podcasts I'm on throughout the week and whenever I release content. Also be sure to check out bg4ghub.com for all your gaming news and reviews. So till next time we meet again, friends, I am Centurion1307, and remember, positivity and change start with us. So let's game united and be safe out there. Thanks for watching. By the way, it's okay to be excited for this game.